Okay, so now we are ready to move to the third and final stage here. This is 3NF. Now, the condition for 3NF, third normal form, is that there are no transitive dependencies. Now, this is a similar concept to partial functional dependencies, except that the transitive dependency is a field that is dependent upon a non-key attribute. Okay? In other words, if we look here at the order detail table, can we find any transitive dependencies? And the answer is, oh yes. For example, let's look at item description. Is item description dependent upon order number and line number? No, not really. It's really dependent upon item number, right? In other words, if you tell me the item number, I can tell you what the description is. Well, that's a transitive dependency because its item description is dependent upon item number, which is not part of the primary key definition. Okay, that is the very definition of a transitive dependency. And it almost always indicates that one of two things. Either you need another table to move that data into, or you have a calculated field. And that's what we have here with extended. Okay, in other words, I have the quantity multiplied by the price in order to get the extended. Well, that means that extended is functionally dependent upon quantity ordered and price. In other words, if I have these fields, I can simply calculate the extended. Therefore, extended is not functionally dependent upon the primary keys, making it a transitive dependency. Now, if you really wanted to be technically accurate, you would remove it and then just calculate extended on the fly. But there are performance reasons why a lot of times we just let that one go. And it's technically not third normal form, but we can calculate it while the order is being created. And so later on, when we need to do math and everything, we don't have to calculate it one more time. It just makes things go faster later on. And if your application is good and it ensures that it's going to match, then you'll be okay. The reason why you don't want transitive dependencies is if your application doesn't deal with the changes properly, you can end up with data corruption issues. For example, let's say somebody goes back and changed the quantity ordered to 6, and for whatever reason the extended does not update. Well, now it won't match. You've got a quantity ordered and a price that when you multiply them does not equal the extended. Whereas if you remove this and just calculate it on the fly and technically fix the third normal form transitive dependency, you'd never have that issue because you'd only ever calculate on the fly based on what's in these fields. So you'd never have that data integrity problem. But again, a lot of this design is you can do it technically accurate, but you're going to experience performance degradation in your system. So some of it is a trade-off between design decisions and performance of the system. Okay, that's becoming less of an issue, as we have super powerful computers. All right, so let's fix these transitive dependencies next. Here's third normal form. So what we've done is we've created an item table now. All right, we've moved out the bits and pieces that are functionally dependent upon the item number. And by the way, we've made item number the primary key in the item table. Now, we still have to have item number in order detail to act as a foreign key so we can link the two tables together. And then quantity ordered and price are still dependent upon order number and line number, not really the item. So we leave them in order detail. And I'm going to leave the extended column, even though technically it's a violation of third normal form. So let's take a look at the ERD. We've extended it. Here, this part over here is the same. But what we've done is we've created an item table, moved those attributes out. Okay, we leave item number in the order detail as a foreign key. Right, created our item number as a primary key, and now notice the relationship. Item can reference 0 or many items in the order detail table, right? Because every time it's ordered, it will be a separate record in there. But a given order detail record can only ever reference a single item, or it must reference one and only one, right? Let's look at this a little bit more. If you can ignore the order detail table for a minute, just conceptually, if you look at item and order, those would have a many-to-many relationship, right? An order contains many items, and item is going to be referenced on many orders. So we know that we cannot have a many-to-many relationship. That just won't work. Usually the way we resolve it is by the creation of a table like order detail, which we call an associative entity or a join entity. There's several names for it. And almost always, the many side of the relationship on both sides will be on the associative entity, not the outside tables that we started with, okay? That's just a rule of thumb.